us speak. Just kidding, of course you did. Anyway, I'll start my presentation, but then before that, I don't think the clicker is working, is it? Oh, this is. Okay, before I come to the slide, let me share with you a life lesson that I learned from one of my personal mentors, Amun Thapa. I was with him at an event recently, and he said, like, to an audience, don't think of a black dog. And he followed up with a question, another question. He said, how many of you didn't think of a black dog? And none raised their hand. Why? Because, like, we've got the power of words. Like, when you ask people, like, don't think of something, they seem to picturize. Another example to help you understand is, four not handless one. But then four not handless one. The first image that comes into your mind is four. It's waste, right? So he was trying to explain, as individuals, as human beings, we've got this power of words. Like, what we do on a daily basis is we communicate. What we do as a human being the most is we talk. So if you're good at explaining yourself, if you're good at expressing yourself, then probably you'll succeed in life. That's the lesson I learned from him, and ever since I've been trying to choose my words very wisely. I hope I do today. Anyway, back to this slide. So, who is this guy? Who? White, huh? White rabbit? No, this guy is an entrepreneur. Like, over the past 2 years, I've been on 5 different startups and going to so many colleges for lectures. One question I get asked the most is, like, who's an entrepreneur? Who's a businessman? How do you become an entrepreneur? And I always have one word for them. That's an entrepreneur is a doer. He's someone who makes things happen. For example, this guy is carrying all that luggage. I'm sure that's clothes or something. Probably he doesn't have any cash for hiring a truck or a cab. He doesn't have any other resources. But then he hopped into a Safa tempo. He was hanging on to it, but then he got from point A to point B. That's what an entrepreneur does. That's what we do. It doesn't matter how bumpy the ride is going to be. It doesn't matter how difficult the journey is going to be, but then we make sure we get to point B. And also, what I tend to realize in Nepal, like, we are pirates, like entrepreneurs are pirates. We've all watched, I mean, most of us have watched the docudrama Pirates of the Silicon Valley. That's what happens in Silicon Valley, like people steal ideas. But then if you have noticed that the same thing is happening in Kathmandu too. Just for an example, Sasto Deal, it's a ditto copy of Groupon. Sasto Book, it's a ditto copy of Amazon. Bureau Ventures, it's similar to Regus, that's in the US. Kathmandu Grab, and all those companies are listed out there. Even like futsal, the new businesses that are coming in, futsal, paintball, paragliding, and all those businesses, those have been there for like decades in other parts of the world. But then they're starting to enter the Nepalese market now. And what Nepalese entrepreneur does, we see these ideas that's been working in other nations, and we bring them in. Like, we don't have to sit down and scratch our head and think of a completely new, brand new idea. And in the rest of the world, like Facebook, before Facebook, there was iFad and MySpace. Before Google, there was Yahoo. Before Chrome, there was Internet Explorer. So we steal ideas from each other. But then the thing is, as Darwin suggested, it's the one who's going to survive is the one who is the fittest, right? But then we make sure we localize it, we make it the best out there, and then we hang on to ourselves, to our team, to our company, and we make sure we beat our competition. That's what's happening in Nepal too. So in a way, we are pirates, entrepreneurs. So coming back to my story, why did I choose to become a pirate? It all started, oh, I'm too far away from the figure. It all started with a pair of these ugly boots. So back in July, I came back to Nepal, having stayed 5 years in the United States. And the first thing I wanted to do was buy a pair of boots. So I asked people around, well, you can't own such a and all. And they said, and New Road ma payhalcha. So I went there in New Road, Vishal Bazaar gayo, RB Complex gayo, Suresh Arcade gayo, campaign pan. So I went to Dharma, man, it should be named Hollywood Lane or something, and then still experience is a subject, right? So finally, I ended up in Barbadini, and I bought a pair of shoes. So one thing I realized later that evening was, Nepalma, सबैजना यस्तै गाह्रो हुन्छ त shopping गर्न. सबैजना, do they have to spend an entire day looking for products? यसरी नै गइरहेछ सबैजना. Like एकजना मान्छे 95 job गरिरहेछ भने, like उनीहरूलाई एउटा Saturday day off हुन्छ. So त्यो एउटा pair of boot किन्न पनि or pair of shoes किन्न पनि एउटा entire उनीहरूको day नै waste गर्छ. Answer was yes. So when is someone doing something about it? The answer was no. Can I do something about it? The answer was yes, but how? So to how, whenever I analyzed whether I came up with an idea of Sasto Deal. So I was an avid user of Groupon.com back instead. So I knew Groupon by the coupon layer discount paunthyo, and then Amazon, Flipkart, and all these other websites are. But I knew they delivered products and all. But then Nepalma khasai त्यस्तो थिएन. So I thought to myself, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a website. I'm going to make free home deliveries. I'm going to save people's time. But then I was a marketeer. My website बनाउने आउँदैन थियो. So the first thing I wanted to do was get a team. So I started chatting with my friend Nishan Siddhi. You can read the blogs. And so I asked Nishan, listen, this is my ideas, but then web developers I know no one in Nepal. Do you have any contacts? So he said, yeah, I've got a friend, Solan Manandar, would like contact or no? So I added Solan on Facebook, and I sent him a message, Solan, this is my idea, I want to meet you up and all. But then that was written on August 4th. So August 17th, I got no response. So I wrote back to Nissan, Solanle responded, I'm stuck with an idea just because I don't have a web developer. And I also happen to write Postachis in Nepal. So I was like so frustrated with how things were going back in Nepal. Like the facilities are not. But then finally, like after 2 days, Solan responded to my Facebook message. He said, like, let's meet up. So the first meeting, I told him about the idea. I told him how things were going to run. But then there was a huge problem. I didn't have cash. I didn't have cash to pay him. So I told him frankly, listen, all I've got is 60,000. You're telling me your website banane 50-60,000 chains. So I told him, okay, listen, I'm going to offer you shares. I'll run the company. You just develop the website. So he said, okay, I have a friend, a designer friend, Srijit. I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to get back to you. Luckily, 2 days later, both of them came, and they said, okay, we're in. So finally, I had a team going on. I had someone who could make a website, and being a marketing guy, I knew I could sell stuff. So I gathered a small team, and this petty, since we didn't have any cash, this 60,000 rupees there, which wasn't enough to run a company, we rented out a small garage, probably like 80 garage, like just 2 rooms. And as you can see in the picture, painter like wasn't like we painted the office ourselves. But then turned out paint with the course of work. So we had a small team going, and that's how we started Sasto.com from a garage. And over the past 2 years, it has been a bumpy ride, or a roller coaster ride. Like the high moments where, oh, we're live, we've got the first 100 hits, the first 100 people on Facebook, but then soon it went down. Oh shoot, we're now back up. All the 60,000 that we had, it's gone. But then we didn't quit. We got the team together. We started selling stuff, and again we're on the high, where we were getting popular and all. But then again it went down. Like we started hiring employees. We started spending a lot of money on advertisement. And then as the math teacher always told us, like income minus expense is profit, not the other way around. So it has been a roller coaster ride for the past 2 years for Sasto Deal. But then, and also like a lot of embarrassment and sacrifice. I'm so sorry about the slides. Not just the difficult difficult time we had to go through, but then for me personally, like I had to go through a lot of embarrassment, and the team had to go through a lot of sacrifices. For example, one time at a wedding, I was with my mom, and you know, the cousin's wedding here, so I was walking with my mom, and then there's this pretty lady waving her hands at me, and then we approached her, and then she said, "Chinena?" And I said, "No, Chinena." And then the next she said was, "Timle mero gharma painting delivery garna aako haina?" And then my mom was looking at me with such surprise, like, "Are you a delivery guy or a CEO?" But then as a startup entrepreneur, like, you know, you have to wear all hats, right? And then, like, at our office too, my mom's office, there's this broken chairs and broken furniture, which was just laying around there. So we didn't have the money to buy chairs. You order a sign chair, you know, $3,000 with. So what I did was I stole all the chairs, all the furniture that my mother threw away. So then I would start going, you know, Sasto Deal Bidra. And the office was so small. We just had like room for 3 chairs, but then we had 8 people. So sometimes when all of us were there at the office, we had to take turns to sit. And then there were always like 4 or 5 guys standing around, and it was almost like a musical chair inside the office. So that's how we worked for an entire year. And the first year, like there was no day off, like no Saturday off. Everyone was working morning, then rati samma without getting paid. Like for an entire year, no one got paid. So you can imagine the pressure from home, like without getting any paid, like working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's how we started SastoDeal.com. It says winners don't quit, they fight till the end. But then no matter how difficult our journey was, we stuck with each other, we supported each other, because like we knew as winners we shouldn't quit. And after all that struggle, finally we started to get success. We were listed as Nepal's top 10 e-commerce website. United Nations recently, like not so long ago, they wrote to us, they recognized us as one of the startups making a huge difference around the world. So far we have also made 8,000 plus sales, which is a lot for an online company. And we've got 30,000 plus monthly visitors, and we've got 300 plus businesses working with us at the moment. And these are not exaggerated numbers. And with all the confidence we've gathered over the past 2 years, and with all the network and with all the experiences, finally we launched another company similar to Sasto.com, a sister company called SastoBook.com, which was dedicated entirely to books. And fortunately, the team running SastoBook.com didn't have to go through what we did. They have a huge office, like 17 employees to work for them. But then, the secret behind Sasto Deal is not the business model, it's not me, it's not the idea. What it is it's the team. Like I always explain this to my team, like whenever I have to explain what SastoDeal.com is, it's a football pitch. It's a football team, actually. Like the football pitch, it's the market. Me as a CEO, I'm the striker, I'm the one who's supposed to score goals, I'm the one who's supposed to stand in front of you guys, embarrassing myself. My marketers, they're my midfielders. For example, if there are no midfielders, no marketers, I'll be the one spending an entire day going to the market, getting deals and products. But then since I've got marketers, they run it for me, they make me, they pass the ball and then I score, right? My social media manager, she's the commentator, she's the one who's frequently, consistently letting the audience know that what we're up to. For example, if there are no commentator, there'll be no value for the game. And my HR manager, he's the recruiter, he gets in the best talents. And my mentors, they are our coach, and customers, they are our audience. So it's easier for you guys to understand what SastoDeal.com is. We're a football team. And the stronger the team gets, the better the company gets. And finally, to our last slide, SastoDeal.com, our journey, it's still there, the story still continues. Sasto Book's slogan, it's that the story never ends. And then one quote I use all the time is millions of people have millions of ideas, but then there are very few people who's going to execute it. So having run like 5 startups, I know how difficult it is to execute businesses. People as Nepalese, we love talking about ideas, but then as I'm going to show you guys how difficult it is to run all these startups, and we've done it so far. I hope you guys do it too. Thank you so much.